Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I'm sticking with Apple Music after using Qobuz for about the last month or so. And I will say I might try out Deezer for a little longer because I tried that out for like a short period of time, but then I stopped using it to go back to Apple Music. But who knows, I might try and spin it up again, or not spin it up, but try it out again and see how I like it, just with a little more time of using it because I have liked Qobuz, but there's also a lot of things I don't really like about it. A big thing is just their availability. I don't think they nearly have enough artists available. I do like that you can submit like missing artists just straight on the app, which is really cool. But still, there are a lot of artists that are just straight up missing, especially foreign artists and like Japanese artists. There's just not that many of them. A big example of this is Susumu Hirasawa, the person that did the Berserk 1997 soundtrack. Phenomenal soundtrack, but also just a generally great musician. Phenomenal musician. He's made two great albums, Technique of Relief and Siren, that are both on Apple Music, which are not on Qobuz, unfortunately. Another example of this from another Japanese artist is Toe, the math rock band that made a great math rock album, For Long Tomorrow. Just absolutely phenomenal. And again, it's on Apple Music, but not on Qobuz. And these are just a few of the examples of just the amount of stuff that is on Apple Music that is not on Qobuz. It's kind of just infuriating going from a streaming service that has a huge fucking library to one that has a very, very, very small percentage of what's actually on Apple Music's library. It's I don't know. I feel like Qobuz just can't compete right now with the amount of stuff that is on Apple Music. And also, I think that Apple Music just generally is a little bit better when filtering out a lot of the slop. And what do I mean by this when it comes to like artists? I mean the people that try to identify themselves as the artist in a weird way. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically, if you've seen this before, where you go on an artist profile and you see these weird ass singles that they never released, that the actual artist never released, that's probably because, some random fucking artist or whatever, or just some stupid ass bot just got access to their artist profile and just started spamming a bunch of music. I've seen this on Qobuz as well, where there's like just AI generated album art and songs apparently just in the singles section of their profile, and it's just incredibly annoying. But when it comes to Apple Music, I don't see this nearly as often as I do on Qobuz, especially with these like smaller Japanese artists. As I said, there are a lot of just random ass songs that they didn't actually make on their profile and still up, which I really don't like. It just doesn't give off a good vibe. I just hate AI generated content. I hate AI generation just in general. I really am against generative AI. I just fucking hate it. But that's for another video. But yeah, that aside, I think the biggest reason why I'm actually sticking with Apple Music is not even because of the library, which is also a big reason, but I think the biggest reason is just something that Apple Music has that no other streaming service has, which is the ability to delete songs from your library or from a specific album. This is fucking huge, and I don't want to understate this because there are a lot of albums out there, especially because a lot of reissues are the only available versions on these streaming services that have bonus tracks just tacked onto the end just because. And I get why, but it's still annoying. I wish basically every album that was reissued for like a new remaster or remix just had the original track listing as a separate version, because there's a lot of the time where these albums just have a bunch of fucking bonus tracks tacked onto the end of it, and a lot of the time there are only like deluxe editions available on streaming services, which is pretty annoying. But again, on Apple Music you can actually delete these songs from your library, so you don't have to like pause it every time it gets to the actual end of the album. And I don't know, I think a lot of people do like these bonus tracks at the end of the album, but I just don't like it, especially if it's trying to be just the original album with, it's not trying to be like a deluxe edition or anything. I just find it really dumb how they still just anyway tack on a few tracks at the end when it kind of just ruins the flow of the album, especially when there's like a phenomenal closer that's a that's meant to be the actual closer. And then, there's just these random ass singles that were just tacked on at the end because, oh, they weren't included on the album, so we have to just throw them out at the end with no cohesion at all. It's just like, come on, man. So again, that's the biggest reason why I'm just sticking with Apple Music. Yes, does it suck that, whenever I try to play and stream lossless on Apple Music, it has that weird like hitching and skipping issue. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. And to solve this issue, I have had to download a lot of albums in lossless, which has taken up a lot of space on my phone. But even then, I still probably will just stick with Apple Music, not only because, again, it has a bigger library, it has just generally, I think, a little bit of a better interface than Qobuz, and also just you can delete songs from an album that has, a little bit too many songs that you don't really think need to be on the album or just weren't originally included on the album. But not only that, just generally, again, the fact that they have a little bit more quality control when it comes to, what actually gets accepted, at least what it seems like on artist profiles, and also just generally, I don't know, I just like having all of my stuff in one place so I don't have to, go to a different streaming service and have to add these individual albums. I know you can like transfer your content, but not all of that does get actually transferred over to these streaming services because again, they have less availability. But that is basically, I don't have a whole lot else to say. I'm sorry for all the stuttering in this video. I have trouble formulating my words a lot of the time. My brain just kind of dies whenever I make these like commentary videos for whatever reason. But yeah, that is basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.